It's 30 years this year since the community set up a variety at Blackburn, so it came just after you departed. So
of course.
Was there any sort of activity of that nature at all when you were here?
It was more involved with the kids, with the school kids, when they came in now and then. Not very often at the schools, but I used to enjoy myself with the apprentice boys and I use a lot of time with them. And you always get one that hangs onto your shirt tails, don't you? You can't get shut. I mean, it's like a dog with an old bone. And you just hope that he can throw it far enough one day and he can't find it. But he always did. And you build relationships because when you finish, it's a new area in your life. And these young kids that have listened and developed, and they've gone on to be good players, they've gone on to be coaches, management. It's amazing now when I look back. And the young kids that were here then, like Finch, he's established, he's done all his coaching, he's got great experience, should be used at the right level, You don't use a rally driver to drive a bus.
Well, yeah, certainly he's been an asset to us, and is he the reason you're here today? Is it purely down to Darren that you've come back? Or
Darren and I have had contact about 20 years, I would think, on and off. And then he went to America and we lost a little bit of contact, but he always says I was his second dad. I could never be his first because his first were brilliant. But we've always had good contact, and then when his dad was ill, and he took contact with me then, and then we just built on it, and I thought, it's only 1.5 hours by a plane. Life doesn't stop, friendship doesn't stop, I'll build this. And we can use each other. In the remaining 20 years of my life, I would like to still think that I could give something back to football, is what I want to do. And at the same time, I still think he's got a little bit to learn.
Well, that's what you can come and teach him, because you've got such a lot of experience you could pass on. Because how did it come about that you went to go to Scandinavia?
Scandinavia? Well, when I left Blackburn, I went to Grimsby. And then I was looking at the time then to be a coach. So I got a little opportunity there as well as playing. Then I went to Chester for a year and a half as player coach, player manager. And I was so fed up with English football because I always thought that football was passing to your teammate. I didn't realise it was passing 60 yards away. I'd not been brought up with that. And the English game was beginning to be a bit boring. No challenge. And I mean, Chester was an experience. I could write a book on the 18 months there. You wouldn't believe it. That's another history. And I just thought, I need a change. And I got a telephone call from an Englishman who had Rochdale at one time. Brian. Forget his second name now. And he had Start, one of the top clubs in Norway, in Kristiansand. And he rang me and he said, why don't you come and do some coaching for 6 months, clear your air? And I thought, Norway? Do they play football in Norway? They'd already beaten England 2-1, I think, in a quality. I didn't know that. I ain't got that with me. So I went across and was so taken aback by the people that were so grateful, so energetic. And I stayed. And then brought my family over 2 years later and built it from there.
So is the approach totally different over there to what it's like in England?
Well, the mentality is different, and there's no rush. There's no rush to be good. You're allowed to fail and do wrong things as long as you learn to correct them quickly. And with the attitude of the old man and the discipline I had, I always work. If I do 9 things wrong, tomorrow it'll only be 8. In a week, there's none. And the mentality of the Norwegians, they're very, very good at creating the one star. And if you look at the skiing, for example, they're world champions. They're fantastic athletes. And this is creeping into the everyday. And the kids are brought up with a lot of discipline. And they're just enormous fun to work with because they're always asking questions. You've got to be 2 questions and 3 answers in front. It keeps you on your toes, it keeps you young, it keeps you smiling. And as long as I can wake up every morning, the next 20, 25 years, and look forward to the little drive to the training ground, can't be happier.
So do you think that approach they got over there is something that would really benefit football in this country as well, if we can change mentalities almost to make sure that...
I think it is a mentality bit. I mean, you get all these new coaches coming into the game today. They're 20, 21 years of old. They've not experienced anything at any level, And I think you've got to spend the hours. You've got to do the work out there. It's not an hour a day, it's 7, 8, 10 hours a day, every week, every month, every year, until you get the right position for yourself, And then and young people have got to say, where do you get experience from? Only by practice and work. You don't get it from a computer that just gives you the words and the meaning of it. Take the computer away, pull the plug out, can they survive? That would be interesting.
It certainly would.
That would be very interesting. But I still think that you need an older coach with a younger coach all the time, and the older coach has ambition. His ambition is that the younger coach is going to be better than him. But like they say, the teacher never teaches the pupil all the tricks.
Yes, they've got to learn for themselves as well, haven't they?
You've got to allow them, I work as an FA tutor over there, and I get young coaches come in and they do things, and I can see where the pitfalls come in, and they'll say, let him do it. Let him do it. Let's see if he realises what he's done wrong. Then we can discuss it. I'm not here to help him, I'm here to educate him. And that gives you a fulfilment now, is being able to talk to young coaches and them to listen. So we've all got a role to play in football. You do your role, do it very well, but with a family. A football club is a family. You can't have 3 dads in a family. There's only one.
That's very true. And just looking at the work that we do in the Community Trust, is there an equivalent to that?
Yeah, we have an equivalent to it, but it's more what we would say club samarbete. They work together, so the trainers will come from different clubs with different kiddies at different age groups and work together. I have my own academy where I live in Moss, and I've done it a little bit on the community model that you do here, but I want to take it to be more professional. So I take in the best youngsters in certain age groups, and we travel around and play. And we go to England, and we go abroad, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, play games, get experience, put it down. How can we be better? What do they require? And hopefully you get one that thinks that, yes, this is for me. But there's got to be a progression. They've got, it's okay if you ask a young player today, what do you want to be? A pro, and I want to play for my country. So great. And how are we going to get there, son? And they haven't got a clue. Because it's not about just training, it's a lifestyle. It's a commitment to something that lasts a short time. And you have to push everything else aside. And people who can't do that don't make it to the top. But when you're there, that's when the real work begins. It's not coming in the first team, it's staying there, And you get too many that jump in at 17, 18 for a year, and then you look 2 years later, where are they? What's happened to it? There's many pitfalls, and you've just got to read the signs.